Hello, everybody. The date is 11/28/2022, and this is the first full day that I've had back in the house back home. As you guys hopefully know, I was in Michigan for a week, and yeah, that was cool, I guess. Well, whatever. Not really a week, considering we spent like one full day and then half a day getting up there, and then one full day and then half a day getting, well, 2 days, whatever. Yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, as I said, it is the 28th of November, and you're probably wondering how you playing this build then, because it wasn't released back then. Well, the answer for that is fairly simple. Yeah, I'm not gonna really say, but whatever. Let's just get into it. We're doing Cliff again because it's a Cliff update finally, and as you can see, I've labeled them as William 2, Cliff 4, Nick 5, and Murdoch 12. Let's just jump into this. I thought, what? That wasn't what it was. Oh, I want to have something else. She looks up from the cash box and stares. Now, I don't mean to come across as superstitious, but on my journey here, okay, yeah. I think I already read this. Yeah, I definitely already. I've read this. Yeah, I'm. Don't look. I mean, look into the history of what like this time. Like, I mean, if you want to be depressed, look into the history of the like places like this. But I'll just pause it until we get somewhere we haven't been before, because I know we've already seen this. Huh. This isn't how that ended before, but this is cool, I guess. I mean, I know they changed it. They added some they added some CGs to Cliff's Ride that I didn't really care about seeing because it's just CGs, and whatever. And yet, along with a conspicuously large number of apples, I picked up a curious sense of determination as well. Unraveling the mysteries of this quaint little town shall no doubt be my largest task yet. Quaint. Quaint little town. Ah, yes, totally. That's totally what this is. Totally. I think I'll watch once more. I had to go and see if Sam Murdoch's seeing his room. Think I'd do well to get some rest, but I don't know. Or at least it would do well to find Avery soon. He might know more about Caldwell than anyone here's been able to tell me. Perhaps he can shed light on the rumors I just heard. If anything, I'm willing to take one of these apples out of my hands. Ah, yes, because he's a horse. Totally. I don't know how to feel about this. So Avery, no, that's Avery's the doctor. Avery's the doctor, not the whatever. Don't know how I feel about the settlement quite yet. Can't help but ponder what the rest of the week will offer. Bad things, that's what. Or are we back? Are we back in Sam's head now? Are we back with Sam? Outside of the inn looks more like a tenement house, a professional setup suited for comfort. And the inside of the inn is much to look at either. There's a large lobby with a desk and keys flanked on both sides. Not so much a place for reception. The goose eyeing us warily doesn't look Masada. Oh yeah, this is definitely Sam. He's talking. There's a difference between the way that Cliff and Sam speak, which is I like that. The fact that the prose changes a bit. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon. That's holy hell. It's a woman, not a. Do you need a room for the night? Ah, can't be able to stay in for a week if that isn't a problem. It shouldn't be. A week for one bedroom will cost you $21. Would it be alright if we actually our rooms a little early? We run into several hotspots on the road and would love an opportunity to call ourselves and get our bearings. The goose shook her beak. Rooms can't be rented without an upfront payment. Murdoch nodded understands if he could recognize that tone of voice a mile away. Right then, turns to me. Seems we may have to carve out the cash ourselves, or wait for a benefactor to clear this up himself. I gawk at him. You would think I have that much money. Well, you do work at... Voice trails off as the goose stares at us. One of the finer establishments in Echo, do you not? Not that fine. Looks with skepticism at first, and then it turns into a general alarm. Hopefully our patron should be coming along shortly. Ain't there a difference typically between what's showed to us and showed to Professor Tibbets? Looks processing that. Oh God, we could be waiting for hours. That's what I'm saying. Let's clear her throat. Would you tell me your patron's name? I do have a booking here. Me and the Red Fox both let out sighs of relief. Oh, good. Is there a Mr. Clifford Tibbets down on the page? Goose flipped through her booklet with her bony talons. Is this how he's going to find out the names there? That Cliff's name is actually Cornelius or Cornelis or whatever. I'm afraid there isn't. Damn it. Why? Maybe put it down as Jebediah Coles. It's a good idea. Alex leaned to the counter, placed his paw on his hips, and gave the goose his best smile. How about it? Well, there's a name I recognize, but no, he isn't booked either. Alex smiled, and his eyelids drop immediately. Turns to me. We're running out of options here. Mutter under my breath. Might as well make something up. Something about me saying that makes Murdoch's eyes snap open. How about a Mr. Cornelius Van Howling? Interesting. Cornelis, yeah. Oh boy. That name sounds familiar. Wasn't he that painter Cliff mentioned? I just put that together. How did I just put that together? Whatever. Probably should be wasting this lady's time. The goose's eyes flick out from her book. How's that spelled? Murdoch takes a piece of paper out of his pocket. Looks slightly ripped and stained with dew. Like this. Goose leans forward, looking. That's him. I don't much like giving out keys before a down payment, but this is your lucky day. She unhooks a set of keys off the wall and sets them in the fox's paw as he puts the paper in his vest jacket away. Second floor, first door on the right. I don't want to say anything now, but I get the feeling I don't know what the hell just happened. Keep my mouth shut for now and follow the fox up the narrow set of stairs to our room. His big tail almost hit me in the face as we ascend. Jeez, dude, don't... Once we're inside, I forgot myself for a moment. This room was much bigger than I thought it would be considering the conditions of the inn. It's bigger than my room at the Hip. Ain't exactly lavish, but I get the feeling it's a place for... It's a nice place for... It's nice for a place such as this. Oh, it's too bad, huh? Seems like one of us might have to share with Jeb. I know you're gonna pretend like what just happened didn't happen. Who's Colin Van Hoolick? It's Mr. Tibbets' real name. Or at least the one he goes by in Europa. Here. Takes a piece of paper out of his pocket and shows it to me. Squint my eyes, looking over the letters. Guess I butchered it a little. So why is he using a fake name? It might not have been his choice. My grandparents had changed their names when they immigrated, though they didn't have to change them very much. Think for a second, remember Nick mentioning something similar. Nicholas was his official name, though he still preferred Nikolai. But yes, keep calling him Nick to play it safe, because nobody would tell the difference between that and Nick. How did you get that? It was just lying around the site where we got attacked. Held on to it because I figured it was important identification papers, but I set my mind to you brought fake names. Anyway. What? Either you or the professor are gonna have to share your bed with Jeb. And why's that? Because we're both huge and you're small. Okay, we're doing jokes in this supposedly serious, whatever. I am not small, Sam. I'm just as tall as most other men. Compared to me and Jeb, you're small. So are most people. That's besides the point. That flimsy little bed couldn't handle the both of us. Well, what about the doctor? What about the doctor? Where is exactly is he staying? Wow, that's a butchered sentence. He and Jeb seem close. Maybe Laughlin place to stay. Sounds like you just want a bed to yourself. I just have some bad memories where I used to have to share a bedroom. We had tiny bunk beds we had to share. Wake up against the wall because I couldn't breathe. Why didn't you just sleep on the floor? Because I didn't want to wake up with cramps. Bad start to a work day. I say they wouldn't get as many cramps if he put some muscle on his back when he heard a knock on the door. It's to open it and we see Cliff walk in through the door. There you are, man. I trusted another room wasn't too much trouble. Drew bedoled. They almost didn't let us in. Did you pay? I just paid off the room, so no need to trouble yourselves with those worries. Now that we're here, let's just go with our travel worries and strategize how we're going to spend our time here and how we're going to make our way back. A week, huh? That should be enough time to prep and plan a way out of here. If I walked, I'd probably make it to my home to Camp Rosa, but I can't remember if they have a train station or not. I have interviews with Miss Sata in the morning from 9 to noon, so we should wash up and eat breakfast before 8. Do you mind if I set up the closet for development? You're one step ahead of me, Murdoch. Just please make sure to keep your chemicals sealed up tight before and after you use them. I only have 1 week to speak with the people here, and I wouldn't want to embarrass myself with the limited time that I have. You don't need much more from me anymore, right? Thankfully, no, since we've arrived. Though, admittedly, I would feel a lot better if you made the return trip with us as well. Cliff. I already know your circumstances. I'm merely just voicing my concern if we went through to get here. It's not exactly safe to go wandering or alone after we found out what's out there, is it? Okay. It's not safe much anyway. Especially not for me. I think he's saying that at least there's nothing here that will physically harm you. Unless a couple of bounty hunters from Echo stroll on if Will decided to get them my name. He must be putting the pieces together any day by now. And he knows where he went. I don't think it's smart for anyone to travel alone after what happened. Then I'll find somebody to travel with. It's not really your concern. But it is of our concern. Just because you're going your own way doesn't mean we'll stop being friends. I feel the same way. But I've been through more in the last few days with this group than I've ever had with any. Jeez, I can't read apparently. Fucking Christ. I've been through more in the last few days with this group than I've been before my life. I've had before my life. You're getting sentimental without me. You see the horse crouching to stand the small doorways made his way inside. This is so in circle of what? Just trying to get my hands with the weak ship shape. I won't be going back to Echo with the rest of you. It was heavy again despite the weasel's attempt at redirection. That's so. We'll be worse off without you. That's surprising to hear. I don't feel like I did much aside from getting injured. Help me dig. And you didn't panic when most people could have. Maybe even should have. Still, men are hard to find. The smile's a bit strained. You're overselling my contributions. Not really. Just a fact of the prairie. You're all fine if at least one of you is. You're a decent example for staying steady. Better than I was, anyway, even if it wasn't my fault. Well, Jake was right about one thing. We're only better off with you around, Sam. Now, wait just a minute. What do you mean, right about one thing? It's right about a lot of things. My animals are dead and my wagon got hacked up and I still got you where you needed to be. We ran into problems before the attack. I'm late for my arrangements because of all the extra time spent in the woods. Extra time? What is he talking about? Some in a few days. Oh, forget it. We're lucky it weren't turned away at the gate is all. I tell you what, Jebediah. Why don't I just pay you for half the trip and you can just focus on resting up here? I'll pay for when you call new animals and I'll find a different guide. What do you think of that? I think it's stupid as hell considering I've got to go back that way anyhow. It'll be hard pressed to find somebody else short notice. I also don't think that's such a good idea. My family want back in town as soon as possible. I don't want to pay top dollar just to get lost again. I said that wasn't my fault. It wasn't. We have multiple different experienced trackers, experienced problems, and consistencies. Here's what I think. The naked truth must be that something on that path or in that forest has altered our perception of space and time. I know there's various types of hallucinogenic gases that cause people to lose track of such things, and we must have fallen victim without realizing that, or we have all shared disease, though I must admit I do not feel awful feverish. Drugging isn't outside the possibility either. Yes, simpler, Mr. Tibbets. You're in an unfamiliar community in the middle of the woods full of people who either cannot help you or cannot understand you. You are paying me to take you from point A to point B and not much else. You owe me half and I want that amount in full tonight. Fine. Weasel mutters under his breath, putting his bag on one of the beds and scrambling through its contents. Jeez, I don't think I've seen Cliff actually angry before. This is weird. I don't like it, honestly. Pulls out a pre-written check and hands it over to Ellers. I hope you use this responsibly. It's mine. I'll use it how I damn well please. Come find me in a wicked plan to make good in the prior arrangement. But this time I want you to pay up front. Ducked down out of the room, slamming the door behind him. Gideon trot down the stairs in a hurry. And he didn't even bother to tell us where to find him. I'm sure you'll see him around. I ought to stay hidden in a place like this. I don't like how right I am right now. I had thought if I laid out my reasoning, he would come to understand my concerns. It isn't as simple as going from point A to point B if there are dangers of miasmas flitting about the woods. And then there's that beast to consider. That patch of woods is his territory. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to go trapezing around to provoke it again. Flinging ourselves to jaws, both literally and proverbial, is what that is, if he intends to take the same path backwards. Cliff. What? You don't have to diagram what you're thinking. I understand where you're coming from. That's good. But you aren't breathing enough. Jeb is already gone. His hands to his temples. I know he's gone. I just thought if I didn't explain, you both wouldn't get it, and you'd both think I wasn't acting in a rational capacity. Looked at Murdoch to see his reaction to this. Looking at me, too. I don't think Jeb thought your thought process was questionable. But it's more like you care an awful lot about how people react to the same information than you get. You're making decisions based on how they feel. Isn't that what it's supposed to be doing? What kind of message does it send when a guy doesn't consent about the safety of his passage? He's probably frustrated that you hired him for his expertise, but down whenever anything goes wrong. But so many things have gone wrong. Do you really think that none of them was his fault? That the drinking was appropriate when we were that close to death's door? I think it's fine and mad about that. but he's mixing up two different things. Yeah. What? Remember the times Jeb got drunk? They only happened after we got lost or attacked, not before. If your ideas about intoxicating gas are true, then we already subject to an alternate experience before we started drinking. Stoat's lip trembled. I see. Took off his glasses to wipe them off and then placed them back with trembling hands. I do that too when I'm stressed. Because I have to wear glasses to see. You're both right, of course. I haven't been acting as a gentleman should. I shouldn't expect others to react how I preconceive they should react. That's not fair to anybody, is it? Part of that's just management experience. Yes, but that's no excuse. It's my first expedition. I should be trying harder to be on my best behavior. I don't know what I'm doing. This is the first impression that both people have of me. It really is our last week together. I'm not going anyway. I don't know much I can add. I don't think anybody can change who they are in just a week. Unless it's something really bad. Hey, Professor. What, Samuel? I'm gonna remember you for who you are, not for who you want to be. Well, then that's just utterly humiliating, then, isn't it? I don't think it is. But it's strange when I'm talking to somebody who's living in tomorrow, not today. What do you pick up tomorrow? I can't be in this kind of mood when I wake up. Two of us look at one another again and then back to Clef. I just need some time to think. Looks out of the room, not exactly slamming the door, but not closing it gently neither. I don't think he gets it. Well, at least something good came out of this. What's that? You're definitely going to get one of the beds yourself. Clicks his tongue, ignoring my comment as he shuffles through his pack, pulling out a dark curtain, jars of liquid in a can. Maybe you'll share what's developed some of these photos. I think I can help somebody see a visual presentation of where they start, where they've come. Where they've come? Are you doing that one of your nudie pictures? Gives me a look. You know that's not what I meant. It's a bitch, and it's a bitch done correctly and how. Right then. I'll leave it to your secrets. He stopped shuffling through his back and looked in my direction. Where exactly are you going? Doing like y'all said. Going different direction, need to find folks who might go with me. Safety in numbers. That's a good idea for general traveling purposes. Parks narrowed his eyes. But truth be told, I don't think numbers will help anyone who runs across that thing. So what will help? Taps his chin. I don't know. I guess the pessimistic answer is two or more groups traveling at the same starting point in different directions, isn't it? Jesus. Oh, I always try to think to try different options, but I don't put much stock into myself. But maybe we'll stumble upon something. That is usually how we get answers to most things, isn't it? Just make sure you stumble first and make sure to tell me what you're fleeing before you bleed out. Someone gives me a short military salute as he busies himself with his chemical and I slinked out the doorway. Jesus Christ, I do not remember what they were talking about before. It's been a while since the last Cliff update, but whatever. They asked directions to the few people who wandering outside, only met with avoidant glances, head shakes, and quick words in language I don't understand. Raccoon points me in a direction where I run into a trading post. When rain isn't much help, staying at the inn is the only place travelers coming and going tend to be during their time here. Oh boy. I make my way through the boundaries of the reservation at least twice. It's getting dark by now. Men with guns leer at me from wooden outposts about 6 feet in the air. Strange to them, no doubt, they don't pay much mind for long. While the south side is gated in an arc of wooden posts, the north is completely unguarded. Doesn't take me long to see why. Reservation is built upon a precipice, and its deep canyon is too steep to climb with ease, considering the rapids are in below it. There's an unguarded post with a flimsy wooden gate to the west, posted before a thick tree line. Walk past the post, unsure if it's still part of the settlement's boundaries or not. The woods here are thick with pine trees, and the sounds of the rapids are louder. I should go back. Oh. Oh, okay. You hear drums and there's a bonfire. Huh, I wonder what. Hmm. Well, to be fair, there have been a lot of references to Carl's route and Cliff's route. Like, the whole, like, thing in the woods with the house there. That was, like, directly from Carl's route. And now this. I stop and hear drums. They're steady, monotone beats. I see movement between the trees and see a procession of mostly adult Maseda walking a row with a man at the front shaking a rattle. There's also two others I recognize. Oh, okay. There's a sprite for them now. There's Yiska, that bear from the trip hitting a drum. And then there's Cliff. He's walking behind them, silent and focused, stepping to the sound of the instrument, as the man in front of them all chants, beating the top of the drum. Looks like they're doing something informal, but they're carrying bags of stuff, and the chanting and the rattling seem to imply otherwise. I jump near another drum. This beat is coming from behind me. I see Selah standing at a well, looking down to hit the drum with the palm of his hands. He looks up and stops playing, noticing me looking back. What's going on? His eyes narrow and he goes back to beating the drum. A disagreement is playing out. Nothing to concern yourself with. Puts out a string of chants and started to play his drum again. Another group of men passed by, some carrying pillows. Another, a paper lamp with wooden siding that had leaves whittled out of it. Where are they taking all that stuff? They're burying Sheila's things. Oh? He was out of the companion on the hunting trip. But I remember they mentioned traveling with a person. Is this a funeral? Not in your Christian sense, no. We bury the lost, but we don't hold funerals. Sheila's body is something we cannot recover. Couldn't his family reuse his things? I don't see the point in burying them. They aren't with the dead, then he might come looking for them. You mean like a ghost? I mean exactly a ghost. I ain't ever heard of a ghost come back to get his things. Oh, that's ironic, Sam. That's ironic coming from you, buddy. That's ironic. Mister, in 100 years I will be a ghost stuck in the head of Chase Hunter. People pass down the things they use all the time. Never really saw one come back for their coat racks and girdles. Perhaps this is because your culture surrounds you with tortured spirits so often you have lost the ability to notice them or how they make you ill. I chuff. Ill in what sense? Spirit and body. People have a bad relationship with the air and soil. I stopped going to church because people kept guilting me there too. Do not compare my people to your fantasies, a world modeled in your image. Didn't mean offense. I'm just struggling to think of what makes someone like you much different from the preacher that always tell me to pray more and do better in the eyes of the Lord. Difference is that your people bend the world into your own image. I'd appreciate it if you stopped saying your people. I don't exactly claim any of this. Shadow of doubt crossed the Kit Fox's face. What exactly do you claim? What are your roots? Stop and think for a bit. I guess I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? My parents didn't know where we come from. My grandparents knew, they never told. We followed in the law and the religion. My township, but that place in my family's practically dead to me. Yet you still claim Christendom without its congregations. I guess. So you choose to bear the weight of a movement without knowing its impact on others. You stumble in the dark then. Hardly surprising. I still don't see what makes your face so much better or different than mine. It's apparent. Our fate emphasizes the importance of noticing everybody's role in the balance of everything, not establishing dominion. It's the difference between speaking and listening, or like seeing the way a river flows and taking the fish you need from the current instead of building a dam to control what the fish must swim. What's wrong with building a dam? Which is, there's nothing wrong with building a dam. It's just an analogy. Okay, it's stressing me out. Lip curls down. Got a lighter? Waxes his face and looks away from me when he pulls something silver from his pocket. Sure. I take out one of the cigarettes I've been holding on to from my pocket and lay my head towards him. Flips it open, definitely retreats it almost immediately after the first spark and first catch of burnt paper. Thanks. Doesn't answer, but he puts the lighter away. He held the smoke, hold it, and let it all out. Anyway, you was saying something about an argument. What's it about? Just an marching procession. Not this kind of stuff would allow here anyway. The clergy doesn't care as much about the older generation does. They know that we'll be more corrupt with its practice, and they let time and dogma do the rest of the work. You seem a lot angrier than your friend. Baron listens hops as he beats the drum. Yiska is not troubled about present or the future. He lives happily that way. He's a very harmonious person. This is why he leads the first night the blessing way. What was that? Mostly what it sounds like. But he would do better at times to recognize that we are surrounded by enemies and bad spirits. Spirits we encounter in the woods who spilled blood. And the priest. You and the other strangers. I'm sorry I exist. Me too. But at least it's not your fault. My temple. The enemy way is a different sort of practice. Keeps the dead away. The unnatural things that plagues us. Does it work? Of course it works. Why is everybody always so confident about these sorts of things? Wouldn't everybody be doing these things if they worked? Then again, I've never needed this degree of spiritual protection before I came to Echo. Maybe just faith in some stuff to make a difference. Or maybe I just keep running into prideful individuals. Yeah. Like, I know that some people will play this route and immediately dismiss Christianity entirely and call it bigoted and all these other things. But, like, anyone can be a bigot. Anyone can be a racist. Anyone can be a sexist. It doesn't fucking matter their nationality, their skin color, whatever the fuck. Doesn't fucking matter. If you're black and you hate white people, you're a racist. If you're white and you hate black people, you're a racist. It's simple. It's fucking simple. Doesn't matter. And Sam is making genuinely good points here. What makes their faith better than Christianity? What makes Christianity better than anything else? It's all different religions and shit. Doesn't fucking matter. Show me then. Glares at me a bit and puts the drum beneath his arm. Not possible, but I can show you parts. Jerks his head in direction of the woods. Okay, that's cool. The effects of, like, him being sort of different colors because of the fire and the light. I fall a little deeper until we come across a glade with another bonfire. Most of what I will show will not bear the same meaning or sentiment to an outsider. Still won't get much out of this. Starts beating his drum with one hand and another in a steady beat. When warriors return to their families, always the risk of bringing back ghosts with them. Then he stops again. First reason why this isn't possible is that the ceremony doesn't take place in one location or one night. They puff for 9 nights alongside many other rituals. We paint the sand with dry pigment, we sing, we pray. Many bear the responsibilities of moving the rattle we make from one side to another. That sounds time consuming. Our community loses much more than time. We started to neglect this ritual. Sheila was a warrior, so are we. He's really unloading this all on me. You know, that little stoat fellow rode all the way across the sea just to hear about stuff like this. He leers at me. Yes, so we can bring it back across the sea. I shrug. So, he's a thief. Oh god, are we gonna get a fucking lecture about cultural appropriation now? What a fucking stupid shit and bollocks, nonsense and garbage. Madness. Madness and stupidity, as Tywin Lannister would say. God. Cultural appropriation is a fucking retarded thing. It doesn't exist. What exactly? Of spirit and knowledge. So then what about me? In truth, I'm telling you this because I do not think you have the capacity to remember the information and pass it along. Huh? At least not details that matter. Blink again. You know what? I think you're really rude. Or I just understand how things work. Oh, shut up. You're a bigot. People who came here to study us don't want to make our lives better. They want to make us like them or kill us. Not our forms and our spirit. Do not have to be comfortable with that. What? Nothing, it's just... You look and sound a lot like somebody I know right now. Who? Do you know Cynthia Soze? First time it looks genuinely curious. They are my cousins, though the Begay and Soze families have been around for a long time. None of them live here anymore. I know one in Echo. I knew his dad and Keller. Now he's nodding. Cynthia was their daughter. That's what she was called here too. Father converted to Christianity. Her mother did not. She traded in jewelry, and Cynthia helped to make this finery. This was a problem for the priest because the nature of this work is religious, and their power to bind the community was great. The day they left was very strange. Looks like he's trying hard to remember. Her father needed medicine, but nobody would disclose the nature of his ailment. I was told the whole family packed up for Camp Rosa, and nobody has seen them since. That goes opposite direction, though. Have you been to Camp Rosa yourself? Several times. Is there a railroad? No, but Providence has one and it's closer. Could you take me there? I don't have any business there. I'll pay you. How much? I have a banking check for $60. I could do this trip for 20 if you have some more material to offer up front. Paper money is fine, we get to our destination. Isn't so good in the desert. Providence is a phone, right? So what? I could get you a phone call with Cynthia. What makes you think I would want that? Don't you? Said she was family. Pauses. I do. But I'm also afraid what I might find out if I do. That's another thing to say. Then again, family business is often odd. More importantly, none of my business. Is that enough to often to think of something else? Supply the food and water and I will agree to this. Deal. One of my hand when he grabs it. It's tight for a paw so small. It's almost painful. It's me going when I hear something. What was that? Sounded like a whinny. Are there pack bees nearby? Yeah, there's a ranch outside the gate. Hear another whinny. And a startled bray and something wet. Just thrashing and galloping and slams into wood. Do they normally make those sounds? You don't think. Don't assume the worst. Something probably snuck into the pen. They're lying. Those beasts are transporting food. Something's wrong with tell the rancher. This way. Well, shit. I just find it really interesting that some people assume that only certain people can be bigots, and I'm just sitting here like, no, anyone can be. That's a serious double standard. And the way this Sailor guy is talking, he very much gives me the vibe of a religious bigot in the sense that he is so wrapped up in his own culture and thinks it's so important and so great. I mean, that's a great way to give a character some depth to make them have biases and shit, but I don't like the preachy nature of it. It's a lot darker in these parts of the woods. I try and make out some shapes that might be barns in the distance, but they look more like blobs to me. I feel the kit fox tug me by the cuff as he ducks, and I feel the board of the fence hit my stomach. This is a fucking kid? Really? This is how? Doesn't look like a kid to me, but okay. It's a shushing sound to me. Are we supposed to be out here? Seeing off his face though he's rolling his eyes. I scamper through the fence and I follow him, mostly because I don't want to be myself. If somebody with a rifle comes across us, stumble around looking for the direction he went in. Here. Oh, there you are. Against something big. And for a moment it must be a sleeping mule. It doesn't look like it's reading evenly. Cold wound. Wasn't bold enough to finish. Why's that? Could be testing the boundaries of the herd. Could have been scared off or injured itself. We look out to the pen in the woods and count more than 50 dark figures waiting around. What we might have heard was one of the pack animals smelling the wound of an animal. Nothing to worry about then. It's like my shoulders with my neck relax. Oh, thank God there's nothing out here now. Whatever it was must be gone. That's when I feel something touch me. Great. Great. We're gonna get some sort of horror sequence now. It confused me at first because it feels like the dainty sort of caress of a hand on my lower leg, except it curls close to grip me. That's when I can feel how truly large the palm is. I don't feel okay right now. I don't feel nice. I yaw as I feel Amy on my feet, send my back into the dirt. On my eyes, I see Sayla staring at me with wide eyes, and rapidly becomes smaller. Something's dragging me. Holy shit! Oh my god, this is cool! This is cool! I see stars in the trees sweep by as I realize the speed that I'm going. Rocks and roots scrape against my shirt, ripping through some of my skin. Try to look forward to see what. No, don't. I am fucking covering the screen. But I don't see anything despite feeling that awful, monstrous claw clipping into me with its nails. I think about how above the canyon the settlement is. Think about a chasm littered with bones. It gets thinner and thinner the harder you're pulled. I stop moving. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Oh boy. Oh man, this is why I love this VN. I stand up in the middle of nowhere. There's no houses nearby. No people. When I try and stand on my left leg, it hurts. It hurts real bad. And what's worse, I can hear something breathing. I feel like it wants me to walk. It wants me to try to make it back to town. There's nowhere to go or hide but back in the direction that I came from. I can still see the trail that my own body made. And I let out a yowl when I hit my first step. My ankle is swelling. I have to crawl. So I get to my knees and I cry out again, feeling the stab in my leg. And I pull myself forward. Tears spool down my cheeks as I scramble forward, careful not to let my left foot touch the ground. I feel a hot breath in my neck. Long, spongy. Ew, no. Slap my neck. I don't like this. This description, man. Now I hear the gunshot. It's gone. It was never there. And I see Salo running towards me, hooking his rifle onto his back, grabbing by the suspenders and pulling me in quick bursts. Looks right, then left, wide-eyed, almost frenzied, just takes me back through the woods. It's hard to turn my head to look left or right. Sometimes I think I hear the breathing again on my right. Sometimes on the left. Sometimes it sounds like it's coming from the trees or from multiple places all at once. Sayla doesn't stop dragging me. Use your legs if you can. Alright, it's twisted. Just the one. You're too heavy to drag. We have to move fast or I'll have to drop you. Back through the gate. Back to his cabin. He slams the door and bolts the lock. Pulls me over to a rug on the ground. Show me a foot. Fold the sleeve and he bends down, holding one of his paws. Don't touch it! Brush up against the direction of my fur. Soft from the bruise, and most of your skin is red, so no bleeding. The bones are in place, but you shouldn't walk on this for several days. Tried to stand again, feel the sharp sting in my ankle. Have to! Only to wait you out of this town. Don't want to wait that long. Silas shakes his head. Foolish. You'll make it fall on that leg. Do you have a car that could drive us? I do. So what's the problem? Some might be following you. I shake my head. You can't prove that. There's gotta be some starving animal. I don't even believe when I say that, but I don't want to think about any other possibility. No animal will be bold enough to come here with all the noise and the smoke. It's something else. And it showed when your party did. I thought your group was attacked before us. Maybe it's hunting you. Mumble somebody to understand. We know that it will go after us at the very least. Well, I still gotta leave town. He's out a window, craning his head. Sounded like it was bothering the animals, so it's a problem for the whole settlement now. You should tell your anthropologist friends we can tell the Christians. Put together a hunting party we can parade it before it strikes. You're gonna try and kill it. Ideally. But we couldn't even see it the last time. It's fast. None of us are getting very far if this problem isn't dealt with. There's a thump on the door. It's sudden and forceful, like a single knock. But that's not exactly right either. Sayla stands and walks up to the door, says something in his language. There's nobody there. Then he tries again in Albion. Who's there? A deep, guttural voice replies. Yiska? We wait for a reply. There's a soft shove again. Yiska's there. What do you mean, Yiska's there? Who is this? Another thump. This is Yiska. Sounded like the bear this time. Are y'all both roommates? He looks up to me and holds up a single digit to his mouth. He's back to the door, making noise I don't understand. The person on the other side of the door makes those noises back, in a deeper voice, and the fox steps away. He walks over slowly to the small window and pulls the curtains over it. A shadow passes and he walks back slowly. About to ask him what's going on, but he puts a hand over my mouth, giving me a taste of clay and bark. Leans close to my ear and whispers, Spirit. That confuses me. Sounded like Yiska. Try to talk to me, but he shakes his head. Do not leave tonight. Do not let anybody in until morning. What if it's somebody we know? Especially if it's somebody we know. Right behind the curtain blackens. I hear sniffing sounds and something wet. Slow scraping noise drags across the window. Then the shadow leaves. Again, nobody. What about your hunting partner? That wasn't him. He won't be back tonight. this is this is the type of horror story I fucking love. I love this shit. Fucking love this type of horror story. It's very obviously a Wendigo as creature. Because skinwalkers are not what most people think of them as. Skinwalkers are just a person, but it can like shapeshift. A Wendigo is more like what we're experiencing here. They listen for the bugs and the wind and the trace of any footsteps, but there's nothing. Get some sleep. I don't know if you try to answer the door. How's that? You make noise and you're in pain. Oh no. We're gonna get a nightmare sequence now. I'm sorry, what? Bruh. Bruh. I'm sorry? Will we continued. Fuck you too, mate. I was excited. Yes, hello. George is now in charge of all of it. Well, project lead, but like anyway, here's the people that worked on it. Thank you for writing this and making it and all that shit. Okay, so that's way shorter than I thought it would be, to be completely honest, but oh well. Um, so from what we've gotten there, we've gotten kind of more of Cliff's route, and we've gotten a taste of the horror that I really like. The type of stuff where it's just paranoia induced, and I love that sort of stuff. I do enjoy Sale as a character because he actually has flaws, like the fact that he thinks his religion is the end all be all, for instance. That's definitely a flaw. And the way he like acts toward other people that aren't his religion. I mean, I can understand why he's acting that way, but it's still very bigoted. And of course, we got a little rant about cultural appropriation. What a fucking stupid concept that is. It doesn't even exist. But yeah. Overall, I very much enjoyed this update, and I will upload this video whenever it releases publicly. That'll probably be in a month or so. So I guess December 28th, my sister's birthday. Wouldn't that be something? Anyway, see ya.